I can't look bad. I can't look unprofessional. I can't look informal. I have to put on a good face. Honestly, if that's where I was coming from right now on this episode, most of you would be uncertain if you could even trust me.
Most hosts never achieve the results they hoped for. They're falling short on listenership and monetization, meaning their message isn't being heard and their show ends up costing them money. This podcast was created to help you grow your listenership and make money while you're at it. Get ready to take notes. Here's your host, Adam Adams.
What's up, podcaster? It is your host, Adam A. Adams, and we want to talk a little bit about integrity. We want to talk about consistency, just being the same person across the board. Now, I want to share a story. Now, my mother actually listens to this podcast. This is one of the special moments in my life when my mom says, I liked that episode. I listened to that episode. I like how you are yourself on your episodes, which is actually funny. I think it was like episode 300 or 304 or 308. It was one of those. It was either 300 or 304 or 308. And that episode was an episode where we had two different mics going at the same time. One of the mics was a Shure MV7, which my mom got because she actually was on my website, one of the better mics that I had available on there. And we tested it on either 300 or 304 or 308, or I can't remember yet. Basically, what we did is we had two mics going on at the same time where it was her mic, the Shure MV7, and it was another mic, basically from a phone. And what was interesting is you could hear almost no background noise when I was using the MV7, and you could almost not hear me when on the other mic. So I said, hey, let's get everybody at a level 5. Let's get everybody at a level 10. What was interesting is my team missed that. When they were editing that, they didn't put one of the clips in. So what ends up happening is it only has the good clip because they didn't find it. They didn't know that it was there or whatever. And what I loved is same day, the day that it published, my mom's like, hey, I checked that out. And I was disappointed because they missed the other clip. And I was like, I'm so glad you listen to my podcast religiously. And so I went and got the team to correct that. They corrected it. It's up and running now. So I know that my mother listens. So hi, Mom. She probably is saying hi. I don't know. She's waving. I'm waving. What I want to talk about is that same day that I was with my mother, that same exact day, there was something that I found that many people have, they don't really grasp beforehand. Now, what's interesting is my younger sister, who's done YouTube, she grasps it really, really fast, faster than I've noticed almost anybody. I was slow. I grasped it very, very slow. And my mom was just like probably you. And what all that means is, and I actually had a podcast recording with one of my clients. It was their very first episode. And this is not an isolated incident with just my mom. So I got to mention that. But I want to use her as an example. And here's the problem. When you try to imitate somebody, it sounds sometimes worse. It's mocking, it's exaggerating it too much. So I got to point that out first, is that I'm going to illustrate these to you in the best way that I can in order to show you that there is a difference. And in order to show you that I want you to think one way or the other. So now let's get into it. As my mother started to play with her brand new mic, she got close to the mic. We talked about mic technique. And then she's talking to me and she's talking to my father and my sister. We're all in the room and we're all practicing. This is all new. My mom never recorded a single episode before this, right? So she gets to the mic and here she is having this conversation with me, and she sounds like the person I'm used to, the person that I'm comfortable with. She has a great voice. She has a great demeanor. She has great voice inflections. It draws me in, it pulls me in. And I feel like she's talking directly to me when we have conversations where she literally is talking directly to me. And then she pulls up a mic. She gets in front of the mic. She has a conversation with us. It turns to the mic and then she talks. Mom, I'm sorry if I'm offending you. And then she talks like this. She talks really serious and she explains the thing and she dictates the thing and makes sure that it makes a lot of sense. And she's having this conversation and she's practicing her skills with the podcast. And I'm like, Mother, why are you being so professional when you get on your mic? Now, I'm the epitome of non-professional. I've got a lot of employees and they live in the Philippines. And there's something with the Filipino culture that is very, very formal. So my employees are very formal. When I went and visited them in the Philippines, they would say stuff like Mr. Adam or Sir Adam, or they would usually use more formal ways of speaking, right? And I'm informal. Professional, unprofessional might be a bad way to say it, but formal, informal. Informality is the name of my game. When I'm having a conversation with you, like just imagine right now, how is this conversation going? This monologue, if you will, but between you and me. Does it feel like I've got it scripted? Does it feel like I'm reading something? Does it feel like I'm trying to be perfect? Does it feel like I like whatever? Or does it just feel like I'm having a conversation with you, that you and I are in the same room? That's the goal. So my mom, we practiced it maybe 3 or 4 times. I think if I remember correctly, there was like 3 times where she got to the mic and her personality changed. So she's having really great conversation. She's really like drawing me in, and she's like, okay, I'm going to talk about that. But then she gets back to the mic and it's like, all right, so we are going to talk about blah, 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 blah. And it's like, this isn't you, Mom. This isn't you, John. Actually, I was just on with a podcast client named Brad Chandler. I cannot wait for your podcast to launch. It is going to be so freaking epic. Brad and I, just like my mom, we get on this recording and we're just doing the trailer. A lot of times when I have a brand new client, we will record the trailer together. Now, it will be edited so that my voice is nowhere in the trailer, but I'm coaching. I like to do that episode 0 with my client because same thing with my mom. Same thing that happened with how my mom was doing her thing. It's like she's natural. She's herself when she's with those people. But then she was having a hard time when she went to the mic having a natural conversation like I try to do. I do my very best. Like right now, I really am just talking to you. And I know you. I know what you look like. I know what you think like. I know what you're struggling. And everything that I do is really for you. I'm having a one-on-one conversation with you. Now, when Brad Chandler started his today, this literally happened today, we were recording, and how it was coming across in the beginning was awesome, actually. It was awesome, but not podcast awesome. What do I mean? I thought of Brad like he is the valedictorian at his university, and it's the graduating class. He's been in the school for 3, 4, 5 years. He knows a lot. He knows a lot of people. He got great grades. He was decent at speaking, and he gets behind the mic, and now he is, in a way, it sounds like he's speaking to an audience. It sounds like he's being professional. It sounds like he's being formal. It sounds like he's being perfect. And that's the part where I don't think that the listener, you or Brad's listener or my mom's listener, is going to resonate with the person who's trying to be perfect. I don't think that they're going to resonate with, I don't think you would resonate with me if I wasn't willing to mess up my words every now and again. If I wasn't willing to pause where I was and repeat myself. If I wasn't willing to say or or like or some of these other filler words. If I was needing to impress you, if my heart was, I can't look bad, I can't look improfessional, I can't look informal, I have to put on a good face. Honestly, if that's where I was coming from right now on this episode, most of you would be uncertain if you could even trust me. Most of you would be like, hey, I don't know if this is his real personality. I don't know if this is how Adam would talk to his best friend, his spouse, his kids, his close relationships. He's trying to impress me. And that scares me, because if he's trying to impress me, then what is he hiding? And when we have these incongruencies of like being perfect, trying to be perfect, trying to impress versus trying to speak from our heart and give from a good place, there's a subliminal message that comes out in our voice inflections, that comes out in our demeanor, in our attitude, that actually blocks people from being able to connect and start doing business with us. So the moral of this episode, which is going to be like a 15-minute episode or something, the moral is be yourself. Have the integrity to act the same with your avatar, with your podcast listener base, as you would if the actual avatar was right there. So with my mom, it started out, I'm this person with you, and then I'm getting on my podcast and I got to be this person. It started out that way. And it's not just my mom. It was Brad Chandler too. It was Brad sounding like he was the valedictorian. All right, guys, this is this, and this is what I learned. And it was pretty powerful. It was pretty driven. It was pretty emotional, but it wasn't completely authentic. It wasn't completely genuine. It wasn't completely, I am the same person with you as I am with this person. When you can be the same, when you can act the same with your all people, it feels better in your own heart, but it also translates better. It also translates to trust factor, because listen closely to this part. Why does it help with the trust? Why does it help you make more money in your company if you are completely authentic? Here's why. Because people need to know you, like you. It goes like this: know, and then like, and then trust. First and foremost, they've got to know you. Secondly, they can start to like you or dislike you. And the third is they got to trust you. So if you are acting as if you are putting on a front, if you are trying to be perfect, people don't really know you. And when they don't know you, they're not sure if they like you. They might go directly to the dislike, but they can't know if they like you because they don't know quite who you are, because you're not being your complete, vulnerable, authentic self, which means that they will not trust you. And if they don't trust you, they're probably going to stop listening at some point, and they most likely will never hire you. They'll never invest in your real estate deals. They will never join your courses. They will never hire you as a one-on-one coach or mentor or consultant. They will never go and watch your videos that you have online because they're not quite sure if they can trust you. So just remember, the moral of the story is be yourself to the core from the beginning, and think of it like Brad and my mother, and be more like my sister, for example, who just somehow, she's an anomaly, somehow is able to portray like she is having that conversation with the one person versus being perfect for all of the people. Don't think about your podcast as I'm speaking to 1,000 people. And so that means that I'm on a stage in front of 1,000 people. And that means I have to be this formal valedictorian and I need to hold back my own personality, but instead have that conversation with one person. You may or may not know that you're not the only listener that I have. I have you and I. You've listened to more than one episode. Maybe this is your first, but you've listened to more than one episode and you keep coming back and we keep having this conversation. And that's a wonderful thing. It makes me super duper happy. Remember, when I'm having a conversation with you, I think about you. It's you and me. I don't think that even though there's, I don't remember, 3,500 people that listen to this podcast, even though there's thousands, right? Shoot, a small amount of thousands. I don't think about all of those other people. I just think about you. If I thought about all those other people, I would be embarrassed as heck. I would feel like I needed to impress people. I would rather just have a conversation with you. And those other people, if they know me, like me, then they can trust me. Those other people, hopefully, if I'm having a conversation with just you, it can resonate with him or her also. That's the big thing. I learned it when I was with my mom. She and I went over all this and I was impressed with my sister. And actually, I need to say that Brad Chandler, at the end, he was pulling on my heartstrings. He was having a conversation, a personal conversation. My mom, after 3 or 4 takes of me just saying, Mom, you're changing your personality. As soon as you get behind the mic, then it's a different person. And then she's like, okay, she's going to take that feedback, take that criticism, if you will, take that feedback and reapproach it. I want you to learn from these experiences so that you can just jump in, approach it from the very get-go, have that conversation with the one person, be yourself to the fullest so that people can know you deeply, understand you, and like you, and trust you. Know, like, trust, only going to happen when you're completely congruent and they feel the integrity where you are the same person in front of them or behind them. You're the same person with your spouse or with your listener. You're the same person with your best friend. You're having drinks with the girls and or right there on your podcast, having a conversation with your listener. Not your listeners, but your listener. Hope that was helpful. I will see you on the next episode. You're not alone if you're ready to either get your very first affordable microphone or if you're ready to upgrade your equipment to some legit podcasting studio equipment. Because on all of the forums over the last few months, I'm seeing this all the time. Even my own personal clients that work with my team, they're ready to get that next microphone. They're asking us for it. Additionally, when I'm on discovery calls with potential clients, they're always asking for this stuff. Hey, what mic do you recommend? Hey, what lighting do you recommend? What webcam should I be using? So many questions. And so what we did, my whole team has put together a PDF so that if you're one of those people who is looking to either get your very first affordable microphone, or if you're ready to upgrade your equipment to more professional podcast studio equipment, whether it's soundproofing or whatever, we've got you covered by going to growyourshow.com/PDF. And you can download the PDF for free, or right there on the webpage is everything that you would have and you don't need to download the PDF. Either way, just go to growyourshow.com/PDF, which will put you to the podcasting equipment that me and my team have personally vetted. I'll see you on the next episode.